All right, I'm going to be pretty quick with a review because some of these things I really want you to find out for yourself. But the first parts, chapters 1 through 3, I'm going to give you the answers to and remind you. So this is all of 1 Thessalonians, chapters 1 through 5. This is a longer test. It will be open notes, which is why you need this study sheet and why you need to have your notes on hand when you take it. Don't try to do this from memory unless you've just been blazing through your studies and you need something to do. All right? But take advantage of the fact this is open notes. All right, first of all, this is what you need to look for in chapter 1. Know about the character and work of the church in Thessalonica. You need to know that it was a good church. They had a good reputation. They've been doing work. It was a very loving church, very gospel-centered, like the church in Colossae. I know you've heard that phrase before, but these guys were actually demonstrating a love that overflowed into their ministry. How did Paul and the other ministers treat the church members when they first met them? Specifically, gently like a mother and father. Paul could be really hard on his folks, but he was not to these guys, and it doesn't look like he ever had to be. So there was a gentleness and a love towards these people that Paul had for them. You need to know themes, key people. Themes are the deal about like ministering through gentleness and love. The minister and the church both have these issues where your work should be motivated by love, gentleness, and a gospel focus. Key people are Paul and Timothy. Timothy is mentioned specifically. He's hung out with these guys before. Paul is really the other one. We don't hear a whole lot about other folks until we get towards the end of the chapter. Places are mentioned are Achaia and Macedonia. These are the regions that this church had already had an effect on and in, and that is why I brought them up. And the key ideas and applications are, again, you want to witness out of faithfulness and love, or that's the work that you do for the church. And if you're a minister, you want to be gentle and loving with the people that you minister to. You need to remember that chapters 1 through 3 really read like a personal history. There's a story kind of crammed in here, and Paul is giving good examples of what this church did well and looks like. So we need to remember that. You need to know that the church in Thessalonica is what I like to say, can serve as an example to follow. They have done good things. Paul has pointed out those good things, and we can emulate those good things as Christians. We are believers just like they are. We're part of a local body just like they are, and we can minister just like they did. Okay, and just to understand, we have to work out of faith, labor out of love, be steadfast in your faith, all right? Which means that the faith means, working out of faith means that God's going to handle the details. You just do what you've been asked to do. Laboring out of love, that's the motivation. It's like, why am I doing this? Well, because you care about people. And if you're a Christian, you should care about people. And being steadfast in faith means that you just keep doing it. Whether it's in the face of persecution, difficulties, coronaviruses, governmental systems that you don't like, or moving to the state of Mississippi, all that kind of stuff. We need to understand these key ideas. Be bold in the gospel. You need to know what that involves. You need to look back through your notes and find what that involves. There's some specific things that I'm looking for. You need to know the 4 aspects of pleasing God. That's going to be in, I think, chapter 2 or 3. But that's going to be in your notes as well. You need to give a general idea of Timothy's report. What do you find out about the church? That's in chapter 3. Going into chapter 4, what is the will of God or the sanctification from the church? That's the first thing I talk about in your notes. That's the first thing you should see under 1 Thessalonians 4 and 5. When I ask you, what will you see and hear when Christ comes back? I mean those things. In the return of Christ, it's talked about in 1 Thessalonians 5. This is one of the last sections on your notes. This question is a little out of order. You need to tell me what you see. You need to tell me what you hear. You need to know the three things that are discussed regarding sexual immorality or sexual morality. It's basically what it has to do with the body, what it has to do with the mind and the heart, and what it has to do with its effect on other people. And then you need to understand what holiness is, what holiness means. Describe living in brotherly love. That's that part that I talked about, like the quiet life, the doing your job, that peaceful living, minding your own business. That's living in brotherly love. Why is dying referred to as falling asleep? There's an underlined phrase. I'm specifically looking for that phrase. Why is dying referred to as falling asleep? And what does Paul say Christ will come like? As in, be prepared. Christ is coming like. And that's pretty much it. It's not a hard test. The information straight from these notes, but please take the time to have your notes in front of you, have your study sheet in front of you, and have the notes copied down in a place where you can get to them in case your internet goes out. Good luck on this. Test is due by Friday at midnight. Thanks.